We do a round called like shoot, move, communicate, where it's more, some of it's more rapid fire, quick questions. Some of it
Sure.
you can elaborate on. But a couple questions keep popping in my head that I figured I should probably transition to this set of questions because they're going to overlap there. So if you're ready to roll, we'll get rolling on some of that.
Shoot.
All right, good deal. First one is what accomplishments in your competitive career has made you the most proud?
That would have had to have been earning my pro card for sure. Yeah.
Awesome, good stuff. And accomplishment outside of competing that has made you most proud, what would that be?
Outside of competing, well, we kind of just touched on it. Just buying my first home last year. Did that all on my own, so I was pretty stoked about that. Yeah, would have to
Nice.
be. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, good stuff. What one word to describe Rachel as a competitor? What would that be?
Tenacious.
Tenacious. One word to describe Rachel as a CrossFitter. What would that be?
Average.
All right, good deal. I like that. One word to describe Rachel as a manager and or leader. What would that be?
Direct.
All right, good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal. So relational but direct, right? So they're like
Yes.
you warm them up, or they're like, oh, she's so nice, and it's like you need to buy this product now.
That's like a skill I've had to tone down over the years. I was just too direct. I was like with everything like in the professional side of things. So it's definitely something I always try to soften.
You just always put your last name out there, right? Did you see my last name?
Yeah. It's a killer.
Good deal. All right. One of the things we like to ask about too is if you were to give like one word to encourage an upcoming female competitor, like physique and any of the physique sports athlete, trying to work through it, I think you would be a great resource. What would that be? What would be your advice to them?
One word?
We'll start with one word, and I changed it on you. I asked advice because I want to give you more than one word. I wrote the question so I can adjust them. I can adjust them when I'm being selfish, but I do
one word.
You had that 10 years,
all of these things.
That 10 years of grinding to make it happen. So I changed it as I was reading the question. I changed it.
What was the black hole tunnel thing you're talking about earlier?
Quantum tunneling.
No. If I had to pick one word, it would just be patience.
Patience.
Especially for women. When you're not patient, that's when you hurt yourself. Some people go in too fast and they just want results. Well, men and women, they want results. They want it to happen overnight. They want to win this show and that show back to back, and they want to be there yesterday. So it's patience. I think, say one word for sure.
Good deal. And then just as kind of more of an open question, but as you're coming through the industry as a successful, female competitor, like, is there any advice you'd have out there for the starter local female competitors? Maybe things you felt you did that helped, or maybe missteps, or what would that look like specific to the female athletes? As we mentioned earlier, we have a lot of male athletes we've had on, but I'd like to get the female perspective on the sport as well.
Yeah. I mean, a big thing would be to make sure you pick the right coach and don't be afraid to switch and try different trainers or coaches. You want to make sure someone, or you're using someone that like is knowledgeable on the female side of things, like hormonally, and isn't just bro science. Cause again, that's where you're going to definitely mistakes I've made over the years in my amateur days is working with people that weren't science backed, I guess. Yep. They weren't, not doing it properly.
Yeah. Bro science works decently for the bros, but with the gals, it works way less.
It'll really screw up the females, or it can, or if they're just pushing certain supplements on you that you don't want to be taking. That's a big thing too, for sure. Yeah.
No, it's interesting. I worked in a medical management company, and even like just your local, just one-time showers, like just how messed up, their hormones would be and things of that nature. So that's a great point. You can't use just use a quarter of what my boyfriend's using or whatever. That's what he said. Like
the boyfriend has them on something. I'm like, what? Like, hearing what some like bikini competitors are doing, I'm like,
oh man,
that's crazy. That's like another topic.
It's kind of a double-edged sword. You touched on when you said patience, and because like with the men, it's slightly better in a weird way because most of the men got into this because they wanted to build a lot of muscle. So typically men don't like competing because that's a whole period of time where they're not building muscle. Where with the females, it's usually a lot different. They love competing because that's when they look in shape, because women aren't doing this stuff in the off season like the men are. The men are doing stuff year round. So they love the off season. They're big, they're strong. That's why they got into the sport. The women, they don't want to be out of shape. They don't want to be soft, or they want to be lean. That's why. And so I find that they seem to want to compete much more often and that's really where it's hard on your body, competing. And so you get like this double hit in that you got, someone helping them who doesn't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing for men, and they really don't know what they're doing for women. Then you combine that with and a lot of times the women who get in the sport tend to be very, very highly motivated people. You're talking like a normal distribution in a bell curve. For the men, you're already like, not the average person. You're on like the kind of far end of someone who's motivated and driven. But even more so for the females, because being like hypermuscular is a real male kind of thing. And so for the females, you're talking way a couple standard deviations from the norm, like hyper motivated, hyper driven. And so you have someone who's like willing to work harder than everyone. And I see that seems to be like very consistent with the females, that you never have to worry about their work ethic. And then you add boyfriend who doesn't know what he's doing hormonally. And then, combined with that hyper motivated girl who wants to compete 10 times a year, you can get yourself in trouble.
Yeah. And another thing with picking the right coach, especially as a newbie, setting realistic expectations or helping them through that process, especially post show. Like, yeah, it's going to be a little bit different, but also let's not jump off the deep end right away here. Like, properly cycling out of the show, like food, cardio, everything. It's so many people just have no idea, and they just think they could just go back to eating like they were before. So that's a big thing too.
Well, a couple more questions for you. As I mentioned, this will be a little more expanded version of these questions, so I'm sure people out there won't mind. But all right, next one. This is a little fun one. If you had to miss one, what would it be? A meal, a night of sleep, or a training session?
A meal, a night of sleep, or a training session? Probably a meal or a night of sleep. Yeah,
one or the other. You could do it. You can miss two. Look at that. You're an overachiever.
I've seen her preps. She has missed several.
Several meals and several nights of sleep. That sleep is forever working on the sleep schedule.
Yeah.
Good deal. All right. Next one is if you had to pick one word that's a parallel between you as a competitor and as a businesswoman, what would that be?
As a parallel between. That's a really good question. Motivated.
All right, good deal.
That's good. That's my back to what I was bringing up earlier. That's my biggest pet peeve of the sport is you have people who are so hyper motivated, self-motivated, do all this stuff on their own for real, no financial gain, and then never apply that to the rest of their life.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy.
Well, one of the things we talk about here at First Detachment, one of our taglines we kind of stumbled on is we say we're all in. And so the question we like to ask our guests too is, what is something that you are currently or in the near future going to be all in on? What gets you excited, passionate, ready to roll in the morning?
I would say right now it's just working on my fitness in between shows. Like, it's not something that ever really goes away. I'm kind of always all in. Like, yes, I have your off season or improvement season, but it's it still excites me. It's in the back of my mind. I'm excited to get back on stage again, but I know there's seasons. So right now it's kind of just need a little bit of a mental shift. And then when the time is ready, we'll be ready to pull the trigger and get back out there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, we appreciate you joining us. I mean, for me, I think you covered all of my questions. Mr. Harris, any additional questions or commentary as we kind of wind down here?
No, I think no one's listening. I blew it with the quantum tunneling. I lost the guest on my end with that. Everyone shuts off when I start talking now.
I doubt. Now, are you going to be at the Toronto Pro Show, Rachel, this year? Or like working a booth or anything?
I'm sure that's in May.
Yeah, I think so.
May?
Is it
Yeah,
May
I
or
think so.
June? Or,
I think we'll probably have a booth. We're kind of just working out our event schedule for this year right now for the Canadian dates anyways. Definitely we'll be at the Vancouver Pro. That's in July. But I might be in Toronto for sure
Gotcha.
for the Toronto Pro.
Well, if so, hopefully we can link up with you there as well. I think
Yeah,
Justin
definitely. Are you guys doing the booth?
Well, we haven't determined specifically yet, but I know Justin has a few clients, so we're always, you know,
Oh, cool.
we try to line up a combination of like shows or events as well as where Justin has clients and things. That way we can kind of support both and
Yeah,
see
absolutely.
how it goes. So yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure having you on, getting to know you a little bit. And for all of our YouTubers out there, just a reminder to like, subscribe, put your comments in. If you have any other specific questions for Rachel, like all of our guests, I'm sure she'd be happy to answer them for you. Go ahead and put those in the comment section. We'll reach out to her and get those answers. And for the rest of you, have a good night. We'll see you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rachel.
This episode is brought to you by First Detachment. First Detachment is an expert formulated supplement company founded by renowned coach Justin Harris. We've combined science with real-world experience in each product. We are battle tested. Are you? Find your battle today at firstdetachment.com.